What if I told you that your greatest power isn't hidden in your past or waiting in some distant future? It's right here, right now. Every decision you make today, every small step you take, is shaping your story, your impact, and your legacy. This isn't just another year. It's the year you stop dreaming about the life you want and start building it. Because the truth is, the pen has always been in your hand, and the masterpiece of your life is waiting to be written. Are you ready to claim it? Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Mirror Moment. Every transformation begins with a moment of truth. Stand in front of the mirror, not just physically but mentally. Who are you? What do you see? Too often we avoid this moment because it forces us to confront the gap between who we are and who we want to be. But it's only by facing this truth that you can change it. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, what needs to change for me to be proud of the person in the mirror by the end of 2025? Chapter 2. The Phoenix Strategy. The phoenix rises only after burning to ashes. Transformation demands destruction of old habits, fears, and identities that no longer serve you. What parts of your life need to burn away? Picture yourself shedding these layers. Imagine the freedom of stepping into a version of yourself that is limitless. The fire isn't your enemy, it's your rebirth. Chapter 3. The Power of an Invisible Mentor. There's a hidden strength in the wisdom of those who came before us. It's a power so profound yet so simple that we often overlook it. When life feels uncertain and the path ahead is unclear, the wisdom of others can become a guide, a light in the dark. But what happens when these wise figures aren't physically present in your life? That's where the concept of an invisible mentor comes in. A person who inspires you deeply and whose story resonates with your own aspirations and struggles. Invisible mentors don't have to be people you know personally. They could be anyone whose life has left a mark on the world or your heart. Think about it. Who inspires you? It could be someone famous like Martin Luther King Jr., a figure of resilience and vision who fought for justice. Or maybe it's a trailblazer like Malala Yousafzai, whose courage in the face of adversity inspires millions. Your mentor could even be someone closer to home, a teacher who once believed in you, a parent who worked tirelessly to give you a better life, or a friend who showed extraordinary kindness. Whoever they are, their story holds lessons that can transform your own journey. Take a moment to reflect. Close your eyes and picture this person. Imagine them standing beside you, ready to share their guidance. Their presence feels steady, calming, and reassuring. Now think about your current challenges. Maybe you're stuck in a job that doesn't fulfill you, struggling with self-doubt, or trying to start something new but afraid of failure. Whatever it is, picture your invisible mentor looking at your situation. What do they see? How would they interpret the obstacles you face? Most importantly, what would they say to you? Would they tell you to take a risk, even if it feels scary? Would they remind you that failure is just a stepping stone to success? Perhaps they would encourage you to have patience, to trust the process, and to believe in your ability to navigate the storms of life. Their words, though imagined, carry immense power because they come from a place of wisdom and lived experience. Now let's take this a step further. Write down what they would say to you. Don't rush this. Let their voice, as you imagine it, guide your thoughts. Write their advice as though they're speaking directly to you. If you feel lost, unsure, or even overwhelmed, revisit these words. Read them slowly and allow their message to sink in. These are not just words on a page. They're reminders of your own strength and potential, filtered through the lens of someone who inspires you. Invisible mentors also teach us an important lesson: the value of resilience. Think about their story. What challenges did they face? Did they have moments of doubt or failure? How did they overcome them? Their struggles remind you that every great journey is marked by moments of uncertainty, yet it's those very moments that lead to growth. They didn't achieve greatness without effort, and neither will you. Their example shows that setbacks are not the end, they're just chapters in the story of transformation. Carrying the wisdom of an invisible mentor is like having a compass in unfamiliar terrain. When life feels overwhelming, their story provides direction. If you're hesitant to take a leap, ask yourself, what would they do in my place? Would they hesitate, or would they act boldly? Let their courage become your courage. Let their determination become your determination. But don't stop there. Carry their wisdom with you in a tangible way. Write their name or a quote from them in your journal. Save their picture or a reminder of their story on your phone. When faced with doubt, revisit these small tokens. They are more than keepsakes. They are symbols of the strength you're borrowing from someone who once stood where you stand now. Over time, something magical begins to happen. As you lean on the lessons of your invisible mentor, you start to embody their qualities. You become the person who faces challenges with grace, who turns fear into action, and who sees opportunities where others see obstacles. And as you grow, you begin to inspire those around you. Without even realizing it, you might become someone else's invisible mentor. The wisdom you've gained, the lessons you've learned, will ripple outward, touching lives in ways you may never know. This is the beauty of mentorship, visible or invisible. It's a chain of inspiration, passed down through generations and across boundaries. The story of your invisible mentor intertwines with your own, creating a legacy of courage, resilience, and transformation. So, the next time you feel stuck or unsure, remember that you're not alone. You have a guide, someone whose story reminds you that greatness is possible, even in the face of challenges. Their wisdom lives within you, ready to be called upon whenever you need it. The power of an invisible mentor is not just in their story, it's in how their story ignites your own. Use that power to reimagine who you can be in 2025 and beyond. Chapter 4. The Lighthouse in the Storm. Life is unpredictable. No matter how much you plan, prepare, or hope, storms will come. These storms can take many forms: a sudden loss, a failure, a betrayal, or even just the creeping feeling of being stuck. In moments like these, it's easy to feel adrift, as if the waves are tossing you aimlessly, pulling you further from where you want to be. This is where your lighthouse comes in. A lighthouse is not just a structure, it's a symbol. For centuries, lighthouses have guided sailors through the darkest nights and roughest waters. They don't calm the seas or stop the storm, but they provide something even more valuable: a sense of direction. They remind sailors that no matter how chaotic the journey, land is near. Safety is near. Purpose is near. In life, your lighthouse serves the same role. It's the guiding principle, the value, or the vision that keeps you steady when everything else feels like it's falling apart. But here's the thing about lighthouses. You have to decide what yours is. No one else can choose it for you. For some, it might be a sense of integrity, always doing what's right, even when it's hard. For others, it might be growth, the determination to learn and improve no matter the circumstances. It could even be love, creativity, or faith. Whatever it is, your lighthouse must be something you deeply believe in, something unshakable, something that can't be taken away by the storms of life. Take a moment to reflect. When you think about your life, what values matter most to you? What principles make you feel strong, steady, and grounded? Think of times when you've faced challenges in the past. What helped you through? Was it your faith in something greater than yourself? Was it the love you had for your family? Was it the belief that things would eventually get better? These moments are clues to what your lighthouse might be. Imagine yourself in the middle of a storm. The wind is howling and the waves are crashing around you. It's dark, cold, and disorienting. Suddenly, in the distance, you see the faint beam of a lighthouse. That light doesn't fix everything. It doesn't calm the storm or stop the waves. But it does something even more important. It gives you hope. It reminds you that you're not lost. You know where you're headed, and you can move toward it. In life, the storms will never stop. You can't control the wind or the waves, but you can choose how you respond to them. Without a lighthouse, you're at the mercy of the storm. With one, you have something to hold on to, a reminder of who you are and where you're going. Even if the path isn't clear, the light will guide you. Let's break this down. What does it mean to live with a lighthouse in your life? It means having clarity about your core values. It means deciding in advance what kind of person you want to be, no matter what happens. Think of it as setting a compass for your soul. If kindness is your lighthouse, you'll strive to act with compassion even when others hurt you. If growth is your lighthouse, you'll see every challenge as an opportunity to learn. If integrity is your lighthouse, you'll stay true to your principles even when it costs you something. The strength of a lighthouse isn't just in its light, it's in its stability. A lighthouse doesn't move. It doesn't bend to the storm or shift with the tides. It stays rooted, unshaken, a constant in an ever-changing world. You too can cultivate that kind of stability. But it takes work. It takes reflection, honesty, and commitment. It takes deciding right now what your lighthouse is going to be. Once you've found your lighthouse, the next step is to keep it in sight. Life has a way of distracting us, of pulling our attention in 100 different directions. When the waters are calm, it's easy to forget about the lighthouse altogether. But storms will come, and when they do, you need to be able to find your light. This might mean writing down your guiding principles and keeping them where you can see them every day. It might mean creating rituals or habits that remind you of what matters most. It might mean surrounding yourself with people who share your values and who can help you stay on course. But even with the best intentions, there will be times when the storm feels overwhelming. There will be times when you can't see the lighthouse clearly, when the waves are too high and the wind is too strong. In those moments, remember this: the light is still there. Even if you can't see it, it hasn't disappeared. It's waiting for you to find it again. Trust in its presence. Trust in your ability to navigate toward it, one small step at a time. Your lighthouse is more than a symbol. It's a promise to yourself. It's a promise that, no matter how difficult life gets, you will keep moving forward. You will hold on to what matters. You will stay true to who you are. The storms may be relentless, but so are you. And here's the most beautiful thing about lighthouses. They don't just guide you, they guide others too. When you live with clarity, purpose, and integrity, you become a light for the people around you. Your strength inspires them. Your resilience gives them hope. In a world full of chaos, you become a beacon of stability, not just for yourself, but for everyone who looks up to you. So what will your lighthouse be? Decide now. Build it strong. Keep it in sight. And no matter what storms come your way, let its light guide you home. Chapter 5. The Architect of Your Own Life. Life is a masterpiece waiting to be created, and you are the architect. Yet so many of us drift through life without a blueprint, hoping things will somehow fall into place. Imagine an architect trying to build a towering skyscraper without a plan, without measurements, without a vision. The result would be chaos, instability, and failure. Life works the same way. If you want to build something extraordinary, you need a clear plan, intentional design, and unwavering commitment. The beauty of being the architect of your own life is that you have complete creative control. Your life doesn't have to look like anyone else's. It doesn't have to follow a standard blueprint handed down by society, family, or tradition. It can be as unique, bold, and innovative as you dare to imagine. But to create something remarkable, you first need to know what you're building. Take a moment to reflect on this. If your life were a building, what would it look like? Would it be strong and sturdy, built on a solid foundation of values and principles? Would it be filled with light and open spaces, reflecting joy, growth, and connection? Or would it be a patchwork structure, hurriedly thrown together, lacking direction or purpose? This is where the work of an architect begins, with a vision. A great architect starts by imagining the end result. They ask, "What do I want to create?" The same question applies to your life. What kind of person do you want to be? What legacy do you want to leave behind? What experiences do you want to have? These are not small questions, and they can feel overwhelming at first, but every masterpiece begins with a single idea. Don't be afraid to dream big. Let your imagination run wild. Once you have a vision, the next step is to assess the foundation. No building can stand tall without a solid base, and your life is no different. Your foundation is made up of your core values, the principles that ground you, guide your decisions, and shape your actions. Without a clear understanding of your values, it's easy to get lost, to build a life that looks impressive on the outside but feels hollow on the inside. Ask yourself, what truly matters to me? What principles will I never compromise? These are the pillars that will support everything you build. With a vision and foundation in place, it's time to create a blueprint. A blueprint is your detailed plan for how you will bring your vision to life. It breaks down the big dream into smaller, actionable steps. Think about the different areas of your life: career, relationships, health, personal growth, and happiness. What do you want to achieve in each area? Be specific. For example, instead of saying, "I want to be healthier," say, "I want to run a marathon by the end of the year," or "I want to eat nutritious meals 5 days a week." The more detailed your blueprint, the easier it will be to build. But even the best blueprints are useless without action. An architect doesn't just draw plans and leave them on the table. They start building, brick by brick, day by day. This is where discipline and consistency come into play. Every decision you make, every habit you form, every step you take is a building block in the structure of your life. Some days will feel productive and rewarding, while others will feel like nothing is going right. That's normal. The key is to keep building, even when progress feels slow. One of the most powerful tools an architect has is the ability to adapt. Plans often change. Unforeseen challenges arise. Materials don't always behave as expected. In life too, things won't always go as planned. You might face setbacks, disappointments, or even moments of complete failure. But just as an architect revises their blueprint to accommodate a new challenge, you too can adapt. Flexibility doesn't mean abandoning your vision. It means finding new ways to achieve it. Think about some of the greatest architectural feats in the world: the pyramids of Egypt, the Eiffel Tower, the Taj Mahal. These structures weren't built overnight, nor were they built without obstacles. They required patience, persistence, and a willingness to solve problems creatively. Your life is no different. Greatness takes time, it takes effort, and it takes the courage to keep going, even when progress is slow. As you build your life, remember that it's not just about the end result, it's about the process. Architects don't just admire the finished building, they find joy in every stage of the creation, from the first sketch to the final detail. In the same way, find joy in your journey. Celebrate small wins. Take pride in the effort you're putting into becoming the person you want to be. The masterpiece of your life is not just something you create, it's something you live. every single day. And here's the most important thing. You are never stuck with one design. Just as architects can renovate, expand, or completely rebuild, so can you. If something isn't working, if a part of your life feels out of alignment with your vision, you have the power to change it. You are not confined by past mistakes or old blueprints. The beauty of life is that it's always evolving, and so are you. As the architect of your own life, you hold the tools to create something extraordinary. The question is, will you use them? Will you take responsibility for your vision, your foundation, your blueprint, and your actions? The masterpiece you dream of won't build itself. It requires your effort, your courage, and your belief in what's possible. So, start today. Pick up your tools. Lay the first brick. Envision the life you want to create and commit to building it, one step at a time. You are the architect of your own life. Make it a masterpiece. Chapter 6. The Hero's Call to Adventure. Every great story begins with a call to adventure. It's the moment the hero faces a choice: stay in the comfort of the known or step into the unknown, where challenges await, but so does transformation. This moment is pivotal. It's the difference between a life lived within the safety of routine and a life that becomes a tale worth telling. And right now, in this very year, 2025, you are being called. This call isn't loud or dramatic, like the blaring of a trumpet or the arrival of a mysterious letter. It's subtle, almost like a whisper that tugs at your heart. It could be the dissatisfaction you feel in your current situation, the longing for something more, or the realization that staying where you are no longer feels right. It's the quiet voice that says, "There is more to you than this." Think of the heroes we admire in stories. Frodo in The Lord of the Rings, who left the comfort of the Shire to face the dark unknown. Moana, who defied her village's traditions to seek the truth beyond the horizon. Harry Potter, who stepped into a world of magic despite his fears. Each of them faced a choice: to stay where it was safe and familiar, or to step into a world of uncertainty and growth. Their choice to answer the call changed everything, not just for them, but for everyone their courage touched. But what makes the call to adventure so powerful? It's not just the promise of rewards or the thrill of the unknown. It's the transformation that lies on the other side. The journey forces the hero to grow, to face their fears, to confront their weaknesses, and to uncover strengths they never knew they had. The person who begins the adventure is never the same as the one who completes it, and that, right there, is why this call matters. You might be thinking, "But I'm not a hero. My life isn't a grand story." Let me stop you right there. Every person, no matter their circumstances, has the potential to be the hero of their own story. Being a hero doesn't mean wearing a cape or battling dragons. It means having the courage to confront your fears and take a step toward the unknown. It means saying yes to growth, even when it's uncomfortable. It means daring to believe in the possibility of a better version of yourself. The call to adventure is often disguised as fear. It's the knot in your stomach when you think about taking a risk. It's the voice in your head that says, "What if I fail?" But fear is not your enemy. It's your guide. Fear shows you where you need to go. It points to the areas of your life where growth is waiting. Think about it. The things that scare you the most are often the very things that have the power to change you. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a vast forest. The path ahead is dark, twisting, and filled with unknown dangers. Behind you is the life you know, safe, predictable, but unfulfilling. The call to adventure is the moment you decide to take that first step into the forest, even though you don't know what lies ahead. You may not have all the answers, and you may not feel ready, but the act of stepping forward is what makes you a hero. The journey won't be easy. No hero's path ever is. You'll face obstacles, both external and internal. Doubts will creep in. You'll question whether you're strong enough, smart enough, or brave enough. But remember, the hero's journey isn't about being fearless. It's about moving forward despite the fear. It's about taking one step at a time, even when the path seems impossible. Think of the people you admire most. Did they become great by staying comfortable? Did they achieve their dreams by avoiding risks? Of course not. Every success story is rooted in a moment of courage, a moment when someone answered their call to adventure. Whether it's starting a business, pursuing a passion, healing from loss, or simply daring to believe in themselves, their journey began with a single, brave decision. As you stand at the threshold of your own adventure, take a moment to reflect. What is calling you? What dream, goal, or change have you been avoiding because it feels too big or too uncertain? What would your life look like if you answered that call? Close your eyes and picture it. Imagine the person you could become if you said yes to the adventure ahead. The truth is, the call to adventure doesn't come just once. It will appear again and again throughout your life, each time inviting you to grow, to evolve, to become more. But every time you ignore it, the voice grows quieter. The path becomes harder to see. Don't let the fear of failure keep you from trying. The only true failure is never answering the call at all. And here's the most beautiful part of the hero's journey. You're never truly alone. Along the way, you'll find allies, people who support you, mentors who guide you, and even strangers who inspire you. The universe has a way of aligning to help those who are brave enough to step into the unknown. Trust that as you take the first step, the next will become clearer. As you embark on this journey, remember that the goal isn't just the destination, it's the person you become along the way. The courage you build, the lessons you learn, the strength you discover, these are the true rewards of answering the call. Whether you reach the summit of your dreams or take a different path entirely, you'll look back and know that you dared to live fully, boldly, and authentically. So, will you answer the call? Will you step into the unknown and claim the adventure that is waiting for you? The choice is yours. The hero of your story is ready. All they need is for you to take the first step. Chapter 7. The 24-Hour Revolution. When people think about changing their lives, they often imagine dramatic transformations. They picture themselves quitting their job, moving to a new city, or making some grand, sweeping gesture. But here's the truth. Real change doesn't happen overnight. It happens in hours, in minutes, in the decisions you make, moment by moment. Transformation begins with mastering a single day. This is the 24-hour revolution, the idea that you can reinvent your life by focusing on what you do in just one day. Imagine your life as a mosaic. Each tile represents a single day. At first glance, a single tile might seem insignificant, but when you step back, you see the big picture. Each small tile contributes to the masterpiece. Your days work the same way. The habits, choices, and actions you take over 24 hours are the building blocks of your entire life. The problem is that most people underestimate the power of a single day. They tell themselves they'll start tomorrow, next week, or next year. But tomorrow is just a collection of today's habits repeated. If you want to change your future, you have to start by changing today. Think about how you spend a typical day. How much of it is intentional? How much of it is filled with distractions, wasted time, or tasks that don't align with your goals? Most people live on autopilot, going through the motions without realizing they're shaping their lives with every choice. The 24-hour revolution is about breaking free from that autopilot and reclaiming your day with purpose and focus. The first step in mastering your day is understanding the power of mornings. Your morning sets the tone for everything that follows. Think of it like setting a compass. If your morning is rushed, chaotic, or unintentional, the rest of your day will follow suit. But if you start your day with clarity and purpose, you'll carry that energy with you. This doesn't mean you need a complicated morning routine filled with meditation, exercise, journaling, and green smoothies. It's about finding a ritual that works for you, something that helps you feel grounded and ready to face the day. Picture yourself waking up tomorrow. The first thing you do isn't to check your phone or scroll through social media. Instead, you take a moment to breathe, to center yourself. You think about your goals for the day, about the kind of person you want to be. Maybe you spend a few minutes stretching, journaling, or drinking a cup of tea in silence. It doesn't have to be long or elaborate. It just has to be intentional. This small act of starting your day with purpose can create a ripple effect that changes everything. Once your morning is set, the next step is to approach the rest of your day with intention. Ask yourself, what matters most today? Not everything on your to-do list is equally important. There will always be tasks that demand your attention, but not all of them will move you closer to your goals. The key is to focus on what truly matters, the actions that align with your values and vision for your life. These are your big rocks, the priorities that deserve your time and energy. It's tempting to get caught up in busyness, to equate being busy with being productive. But the 24-hour revolution isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters. It's about saying no to the distractions, the time wasters, and the tasks that don't serve your purpose. Imagine if you spent just one day fully focused on what's important to you. How much could you accomplish? How different would you feel at the end of the day? But let's be real, life is unpredictable. Even the best plans can be derailed by unexpected events, interruptions, or setbacks. That's why flexibility is a crucial part of the 24-hour revolution. It's not about creating a rigid schedule that leaves no room for change. It's about having a clear sense of your priorities so that even when the day doesn't go as planned, you can still focus on what matters most. Another key to mastering your day is learning to manage your energy, not just your time. Think about it. You could have all the time in the world, but if you're exhausted, distracted, or unmotivated, that time won't be productive. Pay attention to your energy levels throughout the day. When do you feel most focused and alert? Use those high-energy moments to tackle your most important tasks. During low-energy periods, give yourself permission to rest or focus on less demanding activities. One of the most overlooked aspects of the 24-hour revolution is the importance of ending your day with intention. Just as your morning sets the tone, your evening creates closure. Take a few minutes before bed to reflect on your day. What went well? What could you improve? Celebrate your wins, no matter how small, and use any setbacks as learning opportunities. This simple practice not only helps you end the day on a positive note, but also sets you up for success tomorrow. Over time, these small, intentional actions compound. A single day might not seem like much, but string together a week of purposeful days, and you'll start to see progress. Keep it up for a month, and you'll notice real change. Continue for a year, and your entire life will look different. This is the power of the 24-hour revolution. It's not about perfection. It's about consistency. It's about showing up for yourself day after day and trusting that the small steps you take will lead to big results. So, what will you do with your next 24 hours? Will you let the day pass by in a blur, or will you seize it as an opportunity to move closer to your dreams? The choice is yours. Remember, you don't have to change everything at once. Start small. Start now. Revolutionize one day and watch how your life begins to transform. One day is all it takes to start building the life you've always imagined. Chapter 8. The Shadow Work. Deep within each of us lies a shadow, a part of ourselves we often fear, deny, or try to hide. It's the part that holds our insecurities, our flaws, our suppressed emotions, and the memories we'd rather forget. The shadow isn't a villain or an enemy. It's simply a reflection of the aspects of ourselves we have yet to accept or understand. To truly reimagine who you can be in 2025, you must confront this shadow, embrace it, and transform it. This process is called shadow work, and while it isn't easy, it is one of the most powerful journeys you can undertake. At first, the idea of shadow work can feel intimidating. The shadow represents everything we avoid, our fears, our shame, our jealousy, and even the parts of us we've been told are too much or not enough. Society teaches us to suppress these traits, to pretend they don't exist, and to focus only on our strengths and successes. But ignoring the shadow doesn't make it disappear. It only allows it to grow in the dark, influencing our thoughts, actions, and relationships in ways we don't fully understand. The truth is, the shadow isn't inherently bad. It's not something to be destroyed or eliminated. In fact, your shadow holds incredible potential. Within it lies untapped strength, creativity, and resilience. The emotions you've buried can become your greatest teachers if you're willing to listen. Shadow work is the process of bringing those hidden parts of yourself into the light, not to judge or fix them, but to integrate them into the whole of who you are. Imagine your shadow as a child hiding in a dark room, scared and misunderstood. That child doesn't need punishment or rejection. They need compassion. They need someone to say, "I see you, and I accept you as you are." This is the essence of shadow work, acknowledging the parts of yourself you've tried to ignore and offering them understanding instead of judgment. But how do you begin this work? It starts with self-awareness. Pay attention to the moments when you feel triggered, defensive, or uncomfortable. These reactions are often signals from your shadow, pointing to areas that need healing. For example, if you find yourself feeling jealous of someone's success, ask yourself why. Is it because you feel inadequate? Is it because you've been taught to measure your worth by comparison? These questions are not meant to shame you. They're meant to uncover the deeper beliefs and wounds that drive your behavior. Shadow work also involves examining the stories you tell yourself about who you are. These stories often stem from childhood experiences, societal expectations, or past traumas. Maybe you tell yourself, "I'm not good enough, I always mess things up," or "I don't deserve happiness." These narratives are part of your shadow, and they shape how you see the world. To rewrite them, you first have to recognize where they come from and why they exist. One of the most challenging aspects of shadow work is facing your fears. Fear is a powerful emotion, and it often resides in the shadow. You might fear failure, rejection, or the unknown. You might fear confronting painful memories or admitting truths about yourself that you'd rather avoid. But fear is also an opportunity. It shows you where your growth lies. Each time you face a fear and choose to move through it, you reclaim a part of yourself that was once hidden in the shadows. It's important to approach shadow work with gentleness and patience. This is not a process you can rush or force. It's a journey of self-discovery that unfolds over time. You may uncover parts of yourself that surprise or even scare you, but remember, these parts have always been there. By bringing them into the light, you're not creating problems. You're solving them. As you engage in shadow work, you'll begin to see patterns in your life that were previously invisible. You might notice how your shadow influences your relationships, causing conflicts or misunderstandings. You might realize how it affects your self-esteem, holding you back from pursuing your dreams. These insights are not meant to discourage you. They're meant to empower you. The more you understand your shadow, the more control you have over your life. One of the most beautiful outcomes of shadow work is the ability to transform pain into power. The wounds you carry don't have to define you. They can become sources of strength and wisdom. For example, someone who has experienced deep loneliness may develop incredible empathy and compassion for others. Someone who has faced rejection may learn resilience and self-reliance. Your shadow, once integrated, becomes a source of light. Shadow work is not something you have to do alone. Trusted friends, mentors, or therapists can provide guidance and support as you navigate this journey. They can offer perspectives you may not see on your own and help you process emotions that feel overwhelming. Remember, seeking help is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of courage. As you continue this process, you'll notice a shift. The parts of yourself you once feared or rejected will begin to feel less threatening. You'll start to see yourself as a whole person, not just a collection of strengths and weaknesses. This integration brings a sense of peace and authenticity that is impossible to achieve by ignoring your shadow. Shadow work is not just about healing the past, it's about shaping your future. When you embrace your shadow, you free yourself from the patterns and beliefs that have held you back. You open the door to greater self-awareness, deeper connections, and a more authentic life. This is how you reimagine who you can be, not by denying your darkness, but by transforming it into light. As you step into 2025, let shadow work be your guide. Embrace the parts of yourself you've hidden away. Face your fears with courage. Rewrite the stories that no longer serve you. And most importantly, offer yourself the compassion and acceptance you deserve. The work is not easy, but it is worth it. Your shadow is not your enemy. It is your greatest ally on the journey to becoming whole. Chapter 9. The Art of Letting Go. Letting go is one of the most misunderstood yet powerful skills we can develop. We often think of letting go as a sign of weakness or giving up, but in reality, it is the ultimate act of strength. To let go is to trust yourself, to release what no longer serves you, and to make space for new possibilities. It is not an act of losing, it's an act of gaining freedom, peace, and clarity. Letting go is an art, and like any art, it requires practice, patience, and a willingness to embrace imperfection. We all carry things we need to let go of: grudges, regrets, fears, toxic relationships, limiting beliefs, or even outdated versions of ourselves. These things weigh us down like heavy stones in a backpack. Imagine trying to climb a mountain while carrying that load. Every step feels harder than it needs to be, and eventually the weight becomes unbearable. Letting go is the act of removing those stones, one by one, so you can move forward with lightness and ease. But why is letting go so hard? The answer lies in our attachment. We hold on because these things, even the painful ones, feel familiar. They've been part of our identity, part of our story. Letting go means stepping into the unknown, and that can be scary. It means accepting that some things are beyond our control, and as humans, we crave control. We want to fix things, to make them right, to hold on just a little longer in the hope that things will change. But the truth is, holding on often causes more pain than letting go ever will. Letting go begins with acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean you approve of what happened or that you agree with the way things are. It means you acknowledge reality as it is, without resistance. Resistance is what keeps us stuck. We resist by replaying past mistakes in our minds, by wishing things were different, by trying to force outcomes that are no longer possible. Acceptance is the first step in releasing that resistance. It's saying, "This happened. This is where I am. Now, what do I want to do next?" One of the hardest things to let go of is regret. We replay moments in our minds, thinking about what we could have done differently. "If only I had said this," or "If only I had chosen that." But regret is a trap. It keeps you anchored to the past, unable to fully engage with the present. The only way to let go of regret is to forgive yourself. You did the best you could with the knowledge and resources you had at the time. Hindsight may be 20/20, but it's also unfair. It judges you with information you didn't have then. Forgive yourself, learn the lesson, and move forward. Grudges are another heavy burden. When someone hurts us, it's natural to feel anger, resentment, or even hatred. But holding on to those emotions doesn't punish the other person. It punishes you. It's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. Letting go of a grudge doesn't mean you're excusing their behavior. It means you're choosing not to let their actions control your emotions anymore. Forgiveness isn't for them, it's for you. Fear is another thing we often need to let go of. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. Fear can be paralyzing, keeping us stuck in a place that feels safe but unfulfilling. To let go of fear, you have to confront it. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? Often you'll realize that the worst-case scenario isn't as bad as you imagined. And even if it does happen, you'll survive it. Fear loses its power when you face it head-on. Letting go also means releasing the need for control. We like to think we can control everything, our relationships, our careers, even other people's actions. But control is an illusion. The harder we try to control things, the more frustrated we become when they don't go our way. Letting go of control means trusting the process, trusting yourself, and trusting that things will unfold as they're meant to. It's not about being passive or giving up. It's about focusing your energy on what you can control, your own actions, your own choices, and your own mindset. One of the most profound acts of letting go is releasing old versions of yourself. We all evolve, but sometimes we cling to who we used to be because it feels safe. Maybe you were once the person who always said yes, who always put others first, who played it safe. But that version of you may no longer align with who you're becoming. Letting go of that old identity can feel like losing a part of yourself, but it's actually making room for growth. You are not your past. You are not defined by who you were. You have the power to redefine yourself at any moment. Letting go doesn't happen all at once. It's a process, and it's okay to take it one step at a time. Start small. Let go of one grudge, one regret, or one fear. Notice how it feels to release that weight. With each thing you let go of, you'll feel lighter, freer, and more capable of moving forward. Remember, letting go is not about forgetting. It's about freeing yourself from the emotional hold it has on you. Imagine your life a year from now. Picture yourself walking through the world without the burdens you're carrying today. Imagine how much energy you'll have, how much more open you'll feel to new opportunities, how much more joy you'll experience. That vision is possible, but it starts with letting go. As you step into 2025, ask yourself, what am I holding on to that no longer serves me? What would my life look like if I let it go? Trust yourself to make the right choices. Trust that by releasing the old, you're making space for something new and beautiful to enter your life. Letting go is not the end. It's the beginning of freedom, and you deserve to feel free. Chapter 10. Your Unique Symphony. Life is a symphony, and you are the composer. Every aspect of your existence, your career, relationships, health, passions, and dreams is an instrument in this grand orchestra. Some parts are loud and vibrant, while others are soft and subtle. When everything is in harmony, your life feels like music, beautiful, purposeful, and whole. But when even one instrument is out of tune, the entire symphony can feel off balance, chaotic, or incomplete. Your task is to bring all these parts together into a melody that is uniquely yours. Imagine standing before a grand orchestra. Each instrument represents a part of your life, your work, your family, your health, your personal growth, your creativity, and your spirituality. Some instruments are familiar and easy to play, while others are foreign and require patience to master. The challenge isn't just to play each instrument individually, it's to coordinate them so they create something greater than the sum of their parts. This is your unique symphony. But here's the truth. Most people live out of tune. They focus too much on one instrument while neglecting others. Perhaps their career is booming, but their health is suffering. Or maybe they're devoted to their relationships, but have lost touch with their personal goals. The result is a symphony where certain notes overpower others, creating a sound that feels imbalanced. To live a fulfilling life, you must strive for harmony, not perfection, but balance that feels right for you. Start by taking an honest inventory of your orchestra. Reflect on each part of your life. How is your career? Does it excite you, or does it drain you? What about your health? Are you giving your body the care it deserves? Think about your relationships. Are they nurturing and supportive, or are they filled with tension? And what about your passions and creativity? Are they alive and thriving, or have they been silenced by the noise of daily life? Each of these areas is an instrument in your symphony, and they all deserve your attention. Once you've identified the state of your orchestra, the next step is to adjust the volume of each instrument. If your career is consuming all your time and energy, it might be time to turn the volume down and focus more on your health or relationships. If you've been neglecting your creativity, find ways to bring it back into your life. Maybe it's painting, writing, dancing, or simply finding time to dream. The goal is to create a balance that feels authentic to you, a balance that reflects your values and priorities. But balancing your symphony doesn't mean everything has to be equal. Some instruments will naturally play a bigger role than others, depending on the season of your life. During one phase, your career might take center stage as you work toward a major goal. In another, your focus might shift to your family or personal growth. Harmony isn't about giving every area the same amount of attention. It's about giving each area the attention it needs at that moment. As you work to balance your symphony, remember that tuning each instrument takes time. You won't achieve perfect harmony overnight, and that's okay. Just as a musician practices daily to improve their craft, you must practice tuning your life. Start with small adjustments. If your health feels neglected, add a 10-minute walk to your day or make one healthier meal choice. If your relationships need attention, schedule a call with a loved one or plan a date night. These small actions may seem insignificant, but over time, they create a ripple effect that transforms your entire symphony. One of the most important aspects of composing your unique symphony is learning to silence the noise. In today's world, we're constantly bombarded with distractions, emails, social media, news, and endless to-do lists. This noise can drown out the music of your life, making it hard to hear what truly matters. To create harmony, you must learn to set boundaries and protect your time and energy. Turn off the noise, even if just for a few moments each day, and listen to your inner melody. What is it telling you? What notes need to be played more clearly? Another key to your symphony is understanding that it will never be static. Life is dynamic, and so is your music. As you grow, your priorities and values will evolve, and your symphony will change. Embrace this evolution. The music you create at 25 may sound different from the music you create at 45, and that's a beautiful thing. Each phase of your life adds depth and richness to your symphony, creating a masterpiece that is uniquely yours. But don't forget that every great symphony has moments of silence. These pauses aren't empty, they're intentional. They create space for reflection, for anticipation, for the music to breathe. In your life, these moments of silence are just as important as the action. They're the times when you rest, recharge, and reconnect with yourself. Don't be afraid to pause. In fact, embrace it as a vital part of your symphony. As you compose your life, remember that you don't have to do it alone. Every orchestra has a conductor, and while you are the ultimate composer, you can invite others to support your music. Seek mentors who inspire you, friends who encourage you, and loved ones who share your vision. Their presence can amplify your symphony, adding new dimensions to your music. Finally, remember that your symphony doesn't have to sound like anyone else's. Comparison is the quickest way to distort your music. It's tempting to look at someone else's life and think, their symphony is better than mine. But your music is yours for a reason. It reflects your journey, your struggles, your triumphs, and your dreams. It's not meant to fit into someone else's mold. It's meant to be uniquely, beautifully, authentically you. As you step into 2025, ask yourself, what kind of symphony do I want to create? What instruments need tuning? What notes need to be louder and which need to be softer? And most importantly, what does harmony feel like to me? Trust yourself to compose a life that resonates deeply, a life that feels like music in your soul. Your unique symphony is waiting to be written. It doesn't matter if you're just starting out or if you've been playing for years. The music of your life is always evolving, always growing. Pick up your baton, take a deep breath, and begin. Let the music guide you. Let it inspire you, and let it remind you that you are the composer of something extraordinary. Chapter 11. The Courage to Break Free. Breaking free is one of the most courageous acts a person can undertake. It means stepping away from the expectations, limitations, and fears that have kept you confined. It means leaving behind the life you've outgrown to create the one you truly want. But breaking free isn't easy. It requires more than strength. It demands bravery, self-awareness, and an unwavering belief in your ability to create a better future. The chains that bind us aren't always obvious. Sometimes they take the form of societal expectations, the idea that you must follow a specific path to be successful, whether that's achieving a certain career, lifestyle, or relationship status. Other times these chains come from within, self-doubt, fear of failure, or the stories we've told ourselves about who we are and what we're capable of. Breaking free means recognizing these chains for what they are and deciding that they will no longer define you. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast field. Behind you is a dense forest, tangled with vines and shadows. That forest represents everything that has held you back: the old beliefs, the toxic relationships, the fears, and the routines that no longer serve you. Ahead of you lies the open field, filled with light, possibility, and the freedom to move in any direction you choose. But before you can run into that field, you must turn around and untangle yourself from the forest. This is where courage comes in. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision to act despite it. Fear will tell you to stay where you are, to remain in the comfort of the familiar. It will whisper that the unknown is dangerous, that you're not ready, or that you'll fail if you try. But here's the truth. Fear isn't a stop sign, it's a guidepost. It shows you where your growth lies. Breaking free means feeling the fear and taking the leap anyway. One of the hardest things to break free from is the expectations of others. From a young age, we're taught to seek approval, to meet the standards set by our parents, teachers, peers, and society. These expectations shape our decisions, our identity, and our sense of self-worth. But what happens when those expectations conflict with who you really are? What happens when the life you've built to please others no longer feels like your own? Breaking free means having the courage to disappoint people, to say no to what doesn't align with your truth, and to stand firm in your authenticity. Consider the story of the butterfly. Before it can fly, it must struggle to break free from its cocoon. The process is slow and painful, but it's also essential. If you were to cut the cocoon open to make the butterfly's escape easier, it would never develop the strength it needs to fly. The struggle is what makes the wings strong. In the same way, your journey to break free will have its struggles, but those struggles will give you the strength you need to soar. Another form of breaking free is releasing the weight of your past. We all carry baggage, old wounds, mistakes and regrets that linger in the back of our minds. These things can feel like anchors, holding us back from moving forward. Breaking free means forgiving yourself and others, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. It means understanding that your past does not define your future. You are not your mistakes. You are not your failures. You are the person who chooses to rise above them. Breaking free also means confronting the routines and habits that have kept you stagnant. These are the invisible chains that hold us in place, the daily patterns that feel comfortable but don't contribute to our growth. Maybe it's a job that no longer fulfills you, a relationship that drains your energy, or a lifestyle that keeps you from pursuing your dreams. Whatever it is, breaking free means being honest with yourself about what needs to change and having the courage to take action. But let's be real. Breaking free isn't a single moment or a dramatic act. It's a series of small, brave choices. It's deciding to speak up when you've always stayed silent. It's choosing to apply for the job you're afraid you're not qualified for. It's saying no to something that doesn't align with your values, even if it's uncomfortable. Each of these choices is a step toward freedom, and each step builds momentum. There will be moments when breaking free feels overwhelming. The path ahead may seem uncertain, and the pull of the familiar will tempt you to turn back. In those moments, remind yourself of why you started. Visualize the life you're moving toward, the freedom, the fulfillment, the joy. Let that vision fuel your courage. And remember, you're not alone. There are others who have walked this path before you, and their stories are proof that breaking free is possible. One of the most beautiful things about breaking free is the ripple effect it creates. When you choose to live authentically, you inspire others to do the same. Your courage becomes a beacon for those around you, showing them that it's okay to step outside the box, to question the status quo, and to create a life that feels true. Breaking free isn't just a gift to yourself, it's a gift to the world. As you step into 2025, ask yourself, what chains are holding me back? What would my life look like if I broke free? Imagine the possibilities, the opportunities, the lightness you would feel. Trust yourself to take the first step, no matter how small. Breaking free isn't about having all the answers. It's about having the courage to start. Your journey to freedom is waiting. The forest behind you no longer serves you, and the open field ahead is calling your name. Take a deep breath, feel the fear, and take the leap. The life you've always dreamed of is on the other side, waiting for you to claim it. All you have to do is break free. Chapter 12. The Quiet Power of Consistency. In a world that glorifies instant success and overnight transformations, consistency often goes unnoticed. It doesn't make headlines or inspire flashy social media posts, yet it is one of the most powerful forces in life, a quiet, steady strength that can achieve extraordinary results over time. Consistency doesn't shout for attention, but its impact is undeniable. It's the thread that weaves together small efforts into great achievements, transforming ordinary days into an extraordinary life. Imagine a tiny stream of water flowing over a rock. At first glance, the water seems powerless against the solid stone, but over time, as the water flows consistently, it begins to wear away the rock, carving out a path that no one thought possible. This is the power of consistency. It's not about big, dramatic actions. It's about small, intentional steps repeated day after day, even when it feels like nothing is happening. The challenge with consistency is that it doesn't offer immediate rewards. When you take a single step toward your goal, the results aren't visible. When you go to the gym for one day or save a small amount of money, it feels insignificant. But the secret lies in understanding that consistency is cumulative. Each small action builds on the one before it, creating momentum that eventually leads to transformation. What seems invisible in the short term becomes undeniable in the long term. Think about some of the greatest accomplishments in history. They weren't achieved in a single moment of inspiration. The pyramids of Egypt weren't built in a day. Michelangelo didn't paint the Sistine Chapel in a week. Every great achievement is the result of consistent effort over time. The artist shows up to the canvas day after day, the athlete trains through countless early mornings, and the entrepreneur works through years of trial and error. Consistency is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. But why is consistency so difficult to maintain? The answer lies in human nature. We crave results, and when they don't come quickly, we lose motivation. We become distracted by new goals, discouraged by setbacks, or overwhelmed by the enormity of what we want to achieve. Consistency, however, requires a mindset shift. It's not about perfection, it's about persistence. It's about showing up even when you don't feel like it, even when progress seems slow, even when no one else is watching. The key to consistency is starting small. Too often, we set goals that are so ambitious they feel impossible to sustain. We decide to work out for an hour every day, only to give up after a week. We commit to writing a book but feel overwhelmed after the first few pages. Instead of aiming for perfection, aim for progress. Commit to 5 minutes of exercise, 1 paragraph of writing, or saving just a few dollars. These small actions may seem insignificant, but they are the seeds of consistency. Once they take root, they grow into habits that shape your life. Habits are the foundation of consistency. Think about the routines you already have, the way you brush your teeth, make your coffee, or check your phone. These actions happen without much thought because they've become habits. The same principle applies to your goals. When you consistently take small steps, they become automatic. Over time, they require less effort and willpower, freeing you to focus on other areas of growth. Consistency isn't just about what you do, it's also about what you don't do. It's about resisting the urge to quit when things get hard. It's about staying focused in a world full of distractions. It's about saying no to the things that don't align with your goals so you can say yes to the things that do. This kind of discipline is the backbone of consistency, and it's something you can build over time. One of the most powerful aspects of consistency is its ability to compound. This is the same principle that makes compound interest so effective in finance. When you consistently invest in your goals, the results don't just add up, they multiply. Imagine someone who decides to read for just 10 minutes a day. At first it seems like a small commitment, but over a year, that person will have read over 3,600 minutes, the equivalent of several books. The same principle applies to any area of life, whether it's learning a skill, building a business, or improving your health. Consistency also teaches you patience. In a world that prioritizes speed, patience is a rare and valuable skill. Consistency reminds you that good things take time, that growth isn't always linear, and that setbacks are part of the process. It allows you to focus on the journey rather than obsessing over the destination, and in doing so, It helps you develop resilience, the ability to keep going even when progress feels slow or setbacks occur. But perhaps the most underrated benefit of consistency is the confidence it builds. Each time you show up for yourself, you strengthen your belief in your ability to follow through. You prove to yourself that you can be disciplined, that you can overcome resistance, and that you can achieve your goals. This confidence becomes a self-reinforcing cycle. The more consistent you are, the more confident you become, and the more confident you are, the easier it is to stay consistent. As you step into 2025, think about the goals you want to achieve. Break them down into small, actionable steps and commit to showing up every day, no matter how small the effort. Remember that the journey is just as important as the destination. Celebrate the small wins along the way and trust that each step is bringing you closer to your vision. Consistency doesn't demand perfection. It doesn't require you to have all the answers or get everything right the first time. It simply asks that you show up. Day by day, step by step, you'll build the life you've always dreamed of. This is the quiet power of consistency, a power that once harnessed can change everything. Chapter 13. Redefining Success on Your Terms. Success is one of the most celebrated yet misunderstood concepts in life. From the moment we are old enough to understand the word, we are taught to associate it with wealth, accolades, fame, or external achievements. We are handed a script of what success should look like: a high-paying job, a big house, a picture-perfect family, and a life that impresses others. But whose definition is this? And why does it so often leave people feeling unfulfilled even when they achieve it? The truth is, success is deeply personal, and one of the most liberating things you can do in life is redefine it on your own terms. Imagine walking into a gallery filled with paintings, each one representing someone's vision of success. Some are grand and extravagant, with bold colors and sweeping strokes. Others are quiet and serene, depicting simpler, more peaceful scenes. Now, picture your painting. What does your version of success look like? Is it a life filled with meaningful relationships? Is it the freedom to explore your passions? Is it the quiet satisfaction of knowing you're making a difference in the world? Your success doesn't have to look like anyone else's, and that's the beauty of it. Redefining success starts with questioning the script you've been given. Think about the goals you've been pursuing. Are they truly yours, or are they expectations you've absorbed from society, family, or peers? It's easy to fall into the trap of chasing things because they seem impressive or because others expect them of you. But the danger in this is that you may reach the top of the mountain only to realize it's not the mountain you wanted to climb. Take a moment to reflect on what success means to you, not to your parents, your boss, or your social circle, but to you. What brings you joy? What makes you feel alive? What kind of impact do you want to have on the world? These questions might feel overwhelming at first, but they are essential to discovering your own path. Success isn't about ticking boxes on someone else's checklist. It's about creating a life that feels meaningful and fulfilling to you. For some people, success might mean building a thriving career or becoming a leader in their field. For others, it might mean having the freedom to travel, to spend time with loved ones, or to pursue creative passions. Success can be raising a family, volunteering in your community, or simply finding peace within yourself. There is no right or wrong answer, only what feels authentic to you. One of the most powerful ways to redefine success is to shift your focus from external validation to internal fulfillment. External markers of success, money, titles, recognition, can be fleeting. They are influenced by factors beyond your control, and they rarely bring lasting happiness. Internal success, on the other hand, is rooted in your values, passions, and sense of purpose. It's about waking up each day feeling aligned with who you are and what matters most to you. But redefining success isn't just about identifying what you want. It's also about letting go of what you don't want. This can be one of the hardest parts of the process because it often means disappointing others or stepping away from societal norms. It takes courage to say, "This isn't for me," especially when the world around you insists that it should be. But true success requires authenticity, and authenticity means being honest about what feels right for you. Imagine a gardener tending to a field. They can't grow every plant in the world, so they must choose which ones to nurture. They focus their time and energy on what they truly want to cultivate, letting go of the rest. Your life works the same way. You only have so much time, energy, and attention. To create a life that feels successful to you, you must focus on what matters most and let go of the rest. Redefining success also means embracing the idea that success isn't a destination, it's a journey. It's not a single point you reach where everything suddenly falls into place. It's an ongoing process of growth, learning, and self-discovery. There will be setbacks, detours, and moments when you question everything, but these challenges are not failures, they're part of the path. Every step you take, even the difficult ones, brings you closer to a life that feels true to you. One of the most liberating aspects of redefining success is realizing that it doesn't have to be grand or impressive. Sometimes the most meaningful successes are the quiet ones. Finding joy in everyday moments, showing kindness to others, or simply being present. These small, intentional acts of living can be just as fulfilling, if not more so, than the traditional markers of success. It's also important to recognize that your definition of success may change over time, and that's okay. What feels important to you today might not feel the same in 5 or 10 years. Success isn't static. It evolves as you do. The key is to stay connected to yourself, to regularly reflect on your values and goals, and to give yourself permission to change direction when needed. As you step into 2025, consider what success looks like for you in this chapter of your life. Is it about building something new, deepening your relationships, exploring a part of yourself you've neglected? Whatever it is, give yourself the freedom to define it, to pursue it, and to celebrate it in your own way. Let go of the need to compare your journey to others or to meet anyone else's expectations. Your success is yours alone. Redefining success is an act of self-love and self-respect. It's a declaration that your life is yours to shape, that your happiness matters, and that you are worthy of living a life that feels meaningful to you. So, paint your picture of success boldly, unapologetically, and with the knowledge that it is uniquely, beautifully yours. Chapter 14. The Gift of Reinvention. Life is not a single path. It's a series of choices, turns, and opportunities to start anew. Reinvention is one of the most powerful gifts life offers us, yet it's often overlooked or feared. Many people feel trapped by their past choices, identities, or circumstances, believing they must stick to the person they've always been. But the truth is, you are never stuck. Reinvention is your birthright, a chance to rewrite your story, to let go of what no longer serves you, and to create a version of yourself that aligns with your dreams, values, and aspirations. Think of reinvention as a blank canvas. No matter how much paint has been applied to the canvas of your life, you always have the option to start fresh. You can cover the old strokes, change the colors, and create something entirely new. The beauty of reinvention lies in its ability to empower you, to remind you that you are not defined by your past, but by the choices you make today and tomorrow. But reinvention is not just about starting over. It's about growth, evolution, and stepping into your potential. It's not about erasing who you were. It's about building on it. Every experience, whether joyful or painful, has shaped you into the person you are today. Reinvention allows you to take those lessons and use them as a foundation for who you're becoming. One of the biggest barriers to reinvention is the fear of judgment. What will people think if you change? Will they question your choices, criticize your decisions, or doubt your authenticity? The truth is, some people might. Change makes others uncomfortable because it challenges their perception of you. But here's the thing, your life is not a performance for others. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your growth. Reinvention is a deeply personal journey, and the only opinion that truly matters is your own. Another obstacle to reinvention is the belief that it's too late. You might think, I'm too old. I've been in this career for too long. I've made too many mistakes. But history is filled with stories of people who reinvented themselves at every stage of life. Colonel Sanders didn't franchise Kentucky Fried Chicken until he was in his 60s. Vera Wang didn't design her first dress until she was 40. Reinvention has no expiration date. As long as you're alive, you have the power to change. Reinvention begins with a vision. Ask yourself, who do I want to be? What kind of life do I want to create? These questions may feel daunting, especially if you've spent years living according to others' expectations. But give yourself permission to dream without limits. Imagine a version of yourself that feels true, vibrant, and free. What does that person do? How do they think? How do they live? This vision becomes your North Star, guiding you through the process of reinvention. The next step is to let go of the old to make space for the new. This can be the hardest part of reinvention because it often involves releasing habits, relationships, or beliefs that have been part of your identity for years. But holding on to these things will only weigh you down. Letting go doesn't mean you're erasing the past. It means you're honoring it while making room for growth. It's about recognizing that just because something worked for you once doesn't mean it's right for you now. As you move forward, take small, intentional steps toward your new self. Reinvention doesn't happen overnight. It's not about flipping a switch and becoming someone else. It's about gradual transformation. Start by incorporating habits, routines, and mindsets that align with your vision. For example, if your reinvention involves becoming healthier, begin by taking a daily walk or drinking more water. If it involves changing careers, start researching industries that excite you or learning new skills. Each small step is a brick in the foundation of your new life. Reinvention also requires resilience. There will be setbacks, doubts, and moments when you feel like giving up. You might face resistance from others or even from yourself. Change is uncomfortable, and the mind often clings to the familiar. But remember, every great transformation involves discomfort. It's a sign that you're stretching beyond your limits, that you're growing into the person you're meant to be. Surround yourself with people who support your reinvention. Not everyone will understand your journey, and that's okay. Seek out friends, mentors, or communities that encourage your growth and celebrate your evolution. These are the people who will remind you of your potential when you start to doubt yourself. One of the most beautiful aspects of reinvention is the way it allows you to rediscover yourself. Over time, it's easy to lose touch with your passions, dreams, or sense of wonder. Reinvention gives you the chance to reconnect with these parts of yourself, to explore new interests, and to uncover talents you didn't know you had. It's a process of self-discovery as much as it is a transformation. And here's the secret. Reinvention is not a one-time event. It's a lifelong journey. You will reinvent yourself many times over the course of your life, each time shedding old layers and stepping into a new version of yourself. Each reinvention brings you closer to the essence of who you are, a person who is constantly evolving, growing and becoming. As you embrace the gift of reinvention, remember to be patient with yourself. Growth takes time, and there's no need to rush the process. Celebrate every step, no matter how small. Recognize that each choice, each action, is a victory in itself. You are creating a life that reflects your truth, and that is a gift beyond measure. 2025 is your canvas, and reinvention is your brush. What will you create? Who will you become? The possibilities are endless, and the power to shape your future is in your hands. Embrace the gift of reinvention and watch as your life transforms into something extraordinary. Chapter 15. Turning Pain into Purpose. Pain is universal. It touches every life, often arriving uninvited and without warning. It comes in many forms: loss, heartbreak, failure, disappointment, betrayal. While pain can feel isolating and overwhelming, it is also one of life's greatest teachers. Hidden within it is a profound opportunity for growth, resilience, and transformation. The challenge is not to avoid pain, it's to harness it, to turn it into purpose, and to use it as a catalyst for something greater. When we experience pain, our natural instinct is to resist it. We push it away, suppress it, or distract ourselves from it, hoping it will fade. But pain, when ignored, doesn't disappear. It lingers, influencing our thoughts, emotions, and actions in ways we may not even realize. Turning pain into purpose begins with a radical act of courage, facing it head-on. This doesn't mean you have to relive every painful memory or dwell on your suffering. It means acknowledging your pain, allowing yourself to feel it, and understanding its presence in your life. Imagine pain as a fire. Left unchecked, it can burn uncontrollably, consuming everything in its path. But when harnessed, fire becomes a source of warmth, light, and power. Your pain has the potential to fuel your purpose, to ignite a sense of meaning and drive that can transform your life. The question is not, "Why did this happen to me?" but rather, "What can I do with this? How can I use this experience to grow, to help others, or to create something meaningful?" Consider the stories of people who have turned their pain into purpose. Oprah Winfrey, who endured a traumatic childhood, used her experiences to become one of the world's most influential voices, advocating for healing and empowerment. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor, found meaning in his suffering and later wrote Man's Search for Meaning, inspiring millions. These individuals didn't avoid or erase their pain. They transformed it into a force for good. Their stories remind us that while we cannot always control what happens to us, we can control how we respond to it. Turning pain into purpose begins with finding the lessons hidden within your experiences. Pain, as unbearable as it may feel in the moment, often carries wisdom. It reveals what truly matters to you, what you value, and what you need to heal. For example, the pain of losing a loved one might teach you the importance of cherishing every moment. The pain of failure might show you the value of perseverance. These lessons are not meant to diminish your pain or invalidate your feelings. They are simply guideposts, pointing you toward growth. Another powerful way to transform pain is to use it as a bridge to connect with others. Pain is a deeply human experience, and by sharing your story, you can inspire, comfort, and empower those who are walking a similar path. Think about the people who have helped you during difficult times. Perhaps it was a friend who shared their own struggles, or a mentor who encouraged you to keep going. Now, imagine how your story could do the same for someone else. When you use your pain to uplift others, it no longer feels like a burden. It becomes a source of purpose and connection. One of the most profound shifts that occurs when you turn pain into purpose is the way you begin to see yourself. Pain has a way of making us feel powerless, as though we are victims of circumstances beyond our control. But when you transform your pain into something meaningful, you reclaim your power. You become the author of your story, not just a character in it. You recognize that while you may not have chosen your pain, you have the strength to choose what you do with it. But this process is not linear. Healing and transformation take time, and there will be moments when the weight of your pain feels too heavy to bear. It's okay to rest, to grieve, and to seek support. Turning pain into purpose is not about rushing through your emotions or pretending everything is okay. It's about honoring your journey, trusting that even in the darkest moments there is light to be found. To find purpose in pain, start by asking yourself, what has this experience taught me? How has it shaped me? What do I want to do with the lessons I've learned? These questions can help you reframe your pain, shifting your focus from what you've lost to what you can create. Perhaps your pain will inspire you to pursue a new career, to write, to advocate for a cause, or to simply live more fully. Purpose doesn't have to be grand or world-changing. It just has to feel meaningful to you. It's also important to recognize that pain and purpose can coexist. Turning pain into purpose doesn't mean the pain disappears. There may always be moments when the weight of your experiences resurfaces, when you feel the sting of loss or the ache of regret. But purpose gives that pain context. It gives it a reason, a meaning that allows you to carry it with grace rather than letting it consume you. As you turn pain into purpose, you'll discover a resilience within yourself that you may not have known existed. Pain has a way of breaking us open, exposing our vulnerabilities, and forcing us to confront our fears. But it also reveals our strength, our courage, and our capacity to endure. It shows us that even in the face of adversity, we have the power to rise. The process of turning pain into purpose is deeply personal, and there is no one-size-fits-all approach. Your journey will look different from anyone else's, and that's okay. What matters is that you take the first step, however small it may feel. Whether it's journaling about your experiences, reaching out to someone for support, or simply reflecting on what your pain has taught you, each step brings you closer to finding meaning and healing. As you step into 2025, let this be the year you turn your pain into purpose. Embrace the lessons your pain has taught you and use them to create something beautiful. Whether it's a stronger version of yourself, a deeper connection with others, or a newfound sense of meaning, know that your pain is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of a powerful transformation. You have the strength to take your pain and shape it into purpose. You have the courage to rise above it and use it to make a difference in your life and the lives of others. And in doing so, you'll discover that even the darkest moments can give birth to the brightest light. Chapter 16. The Beauty of Unfinished Business. Life is a work in progress. We often hear phrases like, "finish what you start," or "don't leave loose ends," as though our worth is tied to the neatness of our accomplishments. But the truth is, unfinished business is a natural part of life. It's not a sign of failure. It's a testament to growth, change, and the vastness of human potential. Instead of fearing what remains undone, we can learn to see its beauty, its lessons, and its role in shaping our journey. Unfinished business takes many forms. It could be the book you started writing but never completed, the career dream you set aside, or the relationships that remain unresolved. It might be the goals you haven't reached, the projects you've abandoned, or the promises you've broken to yourself. At first glance, these things can feel like burdens, reminders of what you haven't achieved. But if you look deeper, you'll see that they are also opportunities. Unfinished symphonies waiting for your touch, chapters waiting to be written, or perhaps reminders of how far you've come. Imagine walking through a grand museum filled with incomplete masterpieces. Some paintings are half-finished, with bold strokes giving hints of what they might become. Sculptures are partially carved, their forms emerging from blocks of marble. These works, though incomplete, are stunning in their own right. Their unfinished nature invites curiosity, imagination, and possibility. Your life is like that museum. Each piece of unfinished business is a testament to your creativity, your ambition, and your willingness to try. But why do we leave things unfinished? Sometimes it's because life gets in the way. Circumstances change, priorities shift, and what once felt urgent becomes less important. Other times, we stop because of fear of failure, fear of success, or fear of not being good enough. And sometimes we leave things unfinished because they've served their purpose. Not every dream is meant to be realized in the way we initially envision. Letting go of something doesn't mean it was a waste. It means it played its role in your journey. The beauty of unfinished business is that it's never truly over. What feels incomplete today may find new life tomorrow. A project you abandoned years ago might suddenly feel relevant again. A dream you set aside might resurface in a different form. Unfinished business has a way of waiting for us, of meeting us where we are when the time is right. It's not a failure, it's a reminder that growth is not linear and that life unfolds in its own time. One of the most powerful ways to embrace unfinished business is to reframe how you see it. Instead of viewing it as something you've left undone, see it as a work in progress. Every step you've taken toward that goal, every effort you've put into that dream, is part of the journey. Just because it's not finished doesn't mean it's not valuable. The lessons you've learned along the way, the skills you've developed, and the experiences you've gained are all pieces of the puzzle. Unfinished business also teaches us the importance of priorities. Not everything we start is meant to be finished, and that's okay. Life is full of possibilities, and it's impossible to pursue them all. The key is to focus on what matters most to you right now. Let go of the guilt or shame associated with leaving something unfinished. Instead, ask yourself, does this still align with my values, goals, and passions? If the answer is yes, then perhaps it's time to pick it back up. If the answer is no, give yourself permission to let it go. Letting go of unfinished business can be one of the most liberating acts you can do. It's not about giving up, it's about making space. When you hold on to too many unfinished projects, goals, or commitments, they can weigh you down, creating a sense of overwhelm and stagnation. By releasing what no longer serves you, you free up your energy and attention for the things that truly matter. But what about the unfinished business you want to revisit? How do you find the courage to pick up where you left off? The first step is to reconnect with your why. Why did you start this in the first place? What drew you to this project, dream, or goal? Revisit that initial spark of inspiration and let it reignite your passion. Then, break it down into small, manageable steps. You don't have to complete it all at once. Progress, no matter how slow, is still progress. Embracing unfinished business also means accepting that not everything needs to be perfect. Perfectionism is one of the biggest obstacles to completing what we start. It tells us that if we can't do something flawlessly, we shouldn't do it at all. But perfection is an illusion, and the pursuit of it often leads to paralysis. Instead of aiming for perfection, aim for authenticity. Allow yourself to create, to try, to move forward, even if the result is messy or imperfect. Perhaps the greatest gift of unfinished business is the way it keeps us connected to possibility. A life without unfinished business is a life without curiosity, ambition, or growth. The fact that you have things left to do, dreams left to chase, and ideas left to explore means you're alive, engaged, and striving for more. It means you're human. As you reflect on your own unfinished business, ask yourself, what does this represent to me? What have I learned from it? And what do I want to do with it now? Whether you choose to revisit it, reimagine it, or release it, know that it has already played a role in your journey. It has already added to the richness of your story. 2025 is a new chapter, and it's up to you to decide how your unfinished business will fit into it. Will you use it as fuel for growth, as inspiration for new beginnings, or as a reminder of how far you've come? Whatever you choose, embrace the beauty of the unfinished. It's not a flaw. It's a testament to your courage to dream, to try, and to evolve. Your story is still being written, and the possibilities are endless. Chapter 17. Your life as a masterpiece. Your life is a masterpiece, a unique work of art that only you can create. Every decision you make, every experience you have, every dream you pursue is a brushstroke on the canvas of your existence. The beauty of this masterpiece is not in its perfection, but in its authenticity. It is messy, vibrant, textured, and deeply personal. Just as no two works of art are the same, no two lives are identical. Your masterpiece is yours alone, shaped by your choices, your challenges, and your vision. But here's the thing about creating a masterpiece. It's not always easy. The canvas of your life doesn't come with instructions. There's no set formula for success, no guaranteed path to fulfillment. Sometimes, the strokes you make feel uncertain or incomplete. Sometimes you smudge the paint or feel like you've made a mistake. But just as an artist doesn't abandon their work after a single misstep, you too have the power to keep going, to layer new colors and textures until the whole picture comes together. To see your life as a masterpiece, you must first embrace the process of creation. Art is not about rushing to the finish line. It's about being present with the act of creating. Your life is the same. It's not about reaching a specific destination or achieving a particular milestone. It's about living fully, moment by moment, and allowing each day to add depth and meaning to your story. Think about the great artists of history. Van Gogh, Michelangelo, Frida Kahlo. Their masterpieces were not born overnight. They were the result of years of experimentation, practice, and persistence. They made mistakes, faced criticism, and sometimes doubted their own abilities. Yet they kept going. They trusted the process, even when the outcome was unclear. Your life is no different. Each day is an opportunity to add to your masterpiece, to refine your vision, and to create something meaningful. But what makes a life a masterpiece? It's not about fame, wealth, or outward achievements. It's about authenticity. A masterpiece reflects the soul of its creator, and your life should reflect who you truly are. This means living in alignment with your values, pursuing your passions, and staying true to your unique voice. It means embracing your quirks, your imperfections, and your individuality. The more authentic you are, the more your life will shine. One of the most beautiful aspects of a masterpiece is its complexity. A great painting isn't just one color or one texture. It's a blend of light and shadow, bold strokes, and subtle details. Your life is the same. The highs and lows, the successes and failures, the joy and the pain all come together to create something rich and dynamic. The challenges you face are not flaws in your masterpiece. They are what give it depth and character. Consider the metaphor of a mosaic. A mosaic is made up of tiny broken pieces of glass or tile, each one unique and imperfect. On their own, these pieces might seem insignificant or even useless. But when arranged together with care and intention, they create a stunning work of art. Your life's challenges, mistakes, and setbacks are like those broken pieces. They may feel painful or meaningless in the moment, But when you step back and see the bigger picture, you'll realize how they've contributed to your growth and resilience. To create your masterpiece, you must also embrace the idea of revision. No masterpiece is created in a single stroke. Artists revise, rework, and sometimes even start over. In your life, this might mean letting go of old dreams that no longer serve you, pivoting toward new opportunities, or reimagining what success looks like. Reinvention is not a sign of failure. It's a testament to your creativity and adaptability. But creating a masterpiece doesn't mean working alone. Even the greatest artists had mentors, collaborators, and supporters who inspired and guided them. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, challenge you, and believe in your vision. Seek out those who see the beauty in your work, even when you can't. Their encouragement can be the spark that keeps you going when doubt creeps in. One of the most challenging parts of creating your life as a masterpiece is dealing with comparison. In today's world, it's easy to look at someone else's finished work and feel like your own is lacking. But remember, you're not creating their masterpiece, you're creating yours. Every artist has a unique style, and every life has a unique purpose. Instead of comparing your work to others, focus on your own canvas. Trust that your journey is unfolding exactly as it's meant to. The beauty of a masterpiece is that it's never truly finished. Even when the final brushstroke is added, the work continues to inspire, to evolve in the eyes of those who see it. Your life is the same. Each phase, each chapter adds new layers and dimensions. And even when you think you've reached the end of one path, there's always room for a new beginning. As you step into 2025, think about the masterpiece you want to create. What colors will you use? What themes will run through your work? What message will your life convey to the world? Remember, you don't need to have all the answers right now. Masterpieces aren't created in a single moment. They're the result of a lifetime of effort, exploration, and growth. Take a step back and look at the canvas of your life so far. See the bold strokes of your achievements, the soft hues of your quiet moments, and the intricate patterns of your challenges. Appreciate how far you've come and trust in your ability to keep creating. Your masterpiece is uniquely yours, and it's already extraordinary. So, pick up your brush, add a new stroke, experiment with new colors, embrace the messiness of creation, and know that every mark you make is meaningful. Your life is your greatest work of art, and the masterpiece you're creating is one the world has never seen before. Chapter 18. Becoming the author of your story. Imagine your life as a book. Each chapter tells a part of your journey, some filled with joy and triumph, others with pain and struggle. The pages behind you are already written, but the pen is still in your hand. The most important realization you can have is this: you are the author of your story. No matter where you've been, no matter what you've experienced, you have the power to shape what comes next. You don't have to be a passive character in someone else's narrative. You can write your own. For many people, the idea of becoming the author of their story feels overwhelming. Life often feels like a series of events beyond our control, dictated by circumstances, societal expectations, or the decisions of others. But while you can't always control what happens to you, you can control how you respond to it. That response is where your power lies. It's where you take the pen and begin to craft a story that is uniquely yours. Think about the stories we admire most. They are rarely tales of ease or perfection. They are stories of resilience, transformation, and courage. The hero faces challenges, makes mistakes, and sometimes falls apart, but they always rise. They learn, grow, and evolve. Your story is no different. The chapters of pain, failure, or uncertainty are not the end of the book. They are what give the story depth, meaning, and beauty. To become the author of your story, the first step is to reclaim the narrative. Often, we let others define us, parents, teachers, friends, or even strangers. We internalize their expectations, judgments, or labels, and they become the script we follow. You're not smart enough. You'll never succeed. You're too much. You're not enough. These words can echo in our minds, shaping our actions and limiting our potential. But here's the truth. Those voices don't have to dictate your story. You have the power to rewrite the script. Start by asking yourself, what story have I been living? Is it a story of doubt, fear, or limitation? Is it a story dictated by others' expectations? Then ask, what story do I want to live? Picture it vividly. What does the main character, you, look like? What are their dreams, values, and passions? How do they overcome challenges? This vision becomes the foundation of your new narrative. But writing a new story isn't just about imagining a better future. It's about taking action in the present. Every choice you make, no matter how small, is a line in the story you're writing. The way you spend your time, the people you surround yourself with, the risks you take, and the habits you cultivate. All of these are building blocks of your narrative. The question is, are these choices aligned with the story you want to tell? One of the biggest challenges in becoming the author of your story is letting go of the past. The pages you've already written may be filled with pain, regret, or mistakes. It's tempting to keep rereading those chapters, to dwell on what you could have done differently. But a good author knows that the story isn't about the chapters behind. It's about the ones yet to come. The past is not a prison. It's a lesson. It has shaped you, but it does not define you. You are more than the worst thing that has happened to you or the worst mistake you've made. Letting go of the past doesn't mean forgetting it. It means accepting it as part of your journey and using it to propel you forward. Every setback, every heartbreak, every failure has given you tools, strength, wisdom, empathy that you can use to write a better story. The challenges you've faced are not the end of your narrative. They are the turning points, the moments that push the hero to rise. As the author of your story, you also have the power to create meaning. Life doesn't always come with clear answers or reasons for why things happen, but you can choose to find meaning in your experiences. You can choose to see your struggles as opportunities for growth, your mistakes as lessons, and your pain as a catalyst for transformation. This meaning doesn't have to be grand or profound, it just has to resonate with you. Another critical aspect of authorship is embracing change. A good story is never static. Characters grow, evolve, and adapt. The same is true for you. The person you were 5 years ago is not the person you are today, and the person you are today is not the person you will be 5 years from now. Embrace this evolution. Give yourself permission to change your mind, to pursue new dreams, or to let go of old identities. Reinvention is not a betrayal of your story, it's a continuation of it. Becoming the author of your story also means owning your choices. It's easy to blame circumstances or other people for where you are in life. And while external factors certainly play a role, the power to change lies within you. Taking ownership of your story means acknowledging that while you can't control everything, you can control your actions, your mindset, and your perspective. This ownership is not a burden, it's a liberation. It's the realization that you have the power to create the life you want. As you write your story, remember that it doesn't have to be perfect. Perfection is not what makes a story compelling. Authenticity is. Your story will have messy chapters, unexpected twists, and moments of doubt. Embrace them. They are what make your narrative real, relatable, and inspiring. The imperfections are what give your story its humanity. Finally, remember that your story is not just for you. The life you create, the challenges you overcome, and the dreams you pursue have the power to inspire others. By living authentically and courageously, you give others permission to do the same. Your story becomes a light for those who are still finding their way. As you step into 2025, ask yourself, what story do I want to tell? Not the story others expect of you, not the story fear tries to write for you, but the story that feels true to your soul. Pick up the pen. Reclaim your narrative. Write boldly, unapologetically, and with the knowledge that you are the author of something extraordinary. Your story is far from over. In fact, the best chapters are still ahead. Chapter 19. The Ripple Effect of Transformation. Every action you take, every choice you make, and every change you embrace creates a ripple. It's easy to believe that transformation is a private affair, something that begins and ends within you. But the truth is far greater. Transformation doesn't just change your life. It creates ripples that touch the lives of others, often in ways you may never see or fully understand. These ripples extend outward, creating a chain reaction of inspiration, growth, and change that has the potential to reach far beyond your immediate circle. Imagine tossing a single stone into a still pond. The ripples start small, concentric circles spreading outward from the point of impact. At first, they seem insignificant, but as they travel, they touch every part of the water's surface. Your transformation is that stone. Whether it's a small change, like adopting a healthier habit, or a major one, like pursuing your dreams, it sends ripples into the world, affecting not just you, but everyone around you. The ripple effect begins with the people closest to you. When you transform, your energy shifts. You may not notice it, but others do. Your newfound confidence, positivity, or sense of purpose inspires those around you to reflect on their own lives. They see what's possible through your example. Your courage to change reminds them that they too have the power to grow. This is how transformation becomes contagious. It starts with you, but doesn't end there. Think about the people who have inspired you. Perhaps it was a friend who overcame adversity, a family member who followed their passion, or a mentor who encouraged you to aim higher. Their transformation created ripples that reached you, even if they didn't realize it. Now, imagine how your own growth might have the same effect on someone else. You may never know the full extent of your impact, but that doesn't make it any less real. The ripple effect also extends beyond individuals. When you transform, you change the dynamics of the spaces you inhabit, your family, your workplace, your community. Your actions set a new standard, whether it's choosing to communicate more openly, leading with kindness, or demonstrating resilience in the face of challenges. These changes influence the collective energy of the group, encouraging others to rise to the occasion and create a more positive environment. But the ripple effect doesn't stop there. The people you inspire go on to inspire others, creating ripples of their own. It's like a network of interconnected circles, each one amplifying the impact of the last. Your transformation might inspire a friend to pursue their passion, who then inspires a co-worker to take a leap of faith, who then inspires their child to dream big. The ripples spread outward, crossing boundaries you may never see but are undeniably part of. One of the most beautiful aspects of the ripple effect is that it often happens in unexpected ways. You might think your actions are small or insignificant, but they can have a profound impact on someone else. A kind word, a supportive gesture, or simply living authentically can spark change in others. You don't have to be famous, wealthy, or powerful to create ripples. Every act of growth, no matter how small, contributes to a larger wave of transformation. The ripple effect is also deeply intertwined with the concept of legacy. Legacy is not just about what you leave behind. It's about the impact you create in the present. When you transform, You set an example for those who come after you, showing them what's possible. Your growth becomes part of their story, and their story becomes part of someone else's. This interconnectedness is what gives transformation its power. It's never just about you. But creating ripples isn't always easy. Transformation requires vulnerability, courage, and perseverance. It asks you to step outside your comfort zone, to face your fears, and to embrace change. These acts, though challenging, are what make the ripples meaningful. The courage you show in your transformation inspires courage in others. The authenticity you embrace gives others permission to be authentic. The growth you achieve becomes a roadmap for those who are still finding their way. The ripple effect is not just outward, it's inward as well. As you inspire others, their responses often reinforce your own growth. When you see someone take a leap because of your example, it reminds you of the importance of your journey. When someone thanks you for being a source of strength, it strengthens your resolve. The ripples you create come back to you, forming a cycle of mutual inspiration and growth. As you continue your journey of transformation, it's important to remember that the ripples you create don't have to be perfect. Sometimes the most profound impacts come from moments of vulnerability, honesty, or imperfection. People are inspired not by your perfection, but by your humanity, your willingness to keep going despite setbacks, to admit when you're wrong, and to celebrate even the smallest victories. Transformation is a gift, not just to yourself, but to the world. Every step you take toward becoming the person you're meant to be adds value to the collective story of humanity. Your growth reminds others that they too can overcome challenges, embrace change, and create a life that feels true to them. Together, these ripples create a wave of transformation that has the power to change not just individual lives, but entire communities, cultures, and generations. As you step into 2025, think about the ripples you want to create. What kind of energy do you want to send into the world? How do you want your transformation to inspire others? And how can you use your growth to contribute to something greater than yourself? Remember, you don't have to do everything. The smallest actions, a word of encouragement, a shared story, a single step forward, can create ripples that reach far beyond what you imagine. The ripple effect of transformation is a reminder that your journey matters, not just for you, but for everyone your life touches. Each choice you make, each change you embrace, is a gift to the world. So pick up the stone of your transformation, cast it into the pond of life, and watch as the ripples spread. You are creating something extraordinary, something that will echo far beyond this moment. Chapter 20. Your legacy begins today. Legacy is a word that often feels distant, something associated with the end of life, something left behind after we are gone. But legacy isn't something you create later. It's something you build every single day. It's not about wealth, monuments, or grand achievements. It's about the impact you make in the lives of others, the values you embody, and the way you choose to live. Your legacy begins today, in the smallest actions and choices that define who you are and what you stand for. Imagine walking through a garden filled with trees and flowers. Some of these trees are tall and majestic, their roots deeply embedded in the earth, their branches providing shade and shelter. Others are saplings, just beginning to grow, while flowers bloom brightly around them. This garden represents your legacy. Every seed you plant, every tree you nurture, and every flower you care for contributes to the beauty of the whole. The question is, what do you want to plant? What kind of garden do you want to leave behind? Your legacy is not defined by a single moment or achievement. It's the sum of the small, consistent actions you take every day. It's in the kindness you show to a stranger, the encouragement you give to a friend, and the courage you summon to pursue your dreams. It's in the way you treat others, the values you uphold, and the energy you bring into the spaces you occupy. Every interaction, every decision, every effort contributes to the legacy you are building. One of the most empowering realizations is that you don't have to wait to start creating your legacy. It doesn't require a special title, a significant milestone, or a certain amount of money. It starts in this moment, with the person you are right now. You don't need to have all the answers or be in a perfect place in life. All you need is the intention to make a difference, to live authentically, and to contribute to the world in your own unique way. To begin building your legacy, start by reflecting on what matters most to you. What values do you want to embody? What principles do you want to guide your life? Your legacy is a reflection of these values, and the clearer you are about them, the more intentional you can be in your actions. Perhaps you value integrity, compassion, creativity, or growth. Let these values be the foundation of the legacy you create. Legacy is also about the impact you have on others. Think about the people in your life, your family, friends, co-workers, and even those you encounter briefly. How do you want them to remember you? What kind of energy do you bring into their lives? Your words, actions, and presence have the power to uplift, inspire, and encourage. Sometimes it's the smallest gestures, a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, that leave the deepest impression. But legacy isn't just about the present. It's about creating a ripple effect that extends into the future. Consider the ways in which your actions today might influence others long after you're gone. Perhaps you inspire someone to pursue their dreams, pass on wisdom that changes the course of their life, or create something, a piece of art, a business, a community, that continues to thrive. The impact of your legacy is not measured by its size, but by its depth and meaning. At its core, legacy is about connection. It's about how you make people feel, the relationships you build, and the love you share. When people look back on your life, they may not remember every word you said or every accomplishment you achieved, but they will remember how you made them feel. Did you make them feel seen, heard, and valued? Did you inspire them to believe in themselves? These connections are the heart of your legacy. One of the most profound aspects of legacy is its ability to evolve. As you grow and change, so too does the legacy you are creating. The person you are today may have different priorities, dreams, and values than the person you were a decade ago. Embrace this evolution. Your legacy is not a static monument. It's a living, breathing reflection of who you are. Give yourself permission to redefine it as you learn more about yourself and the world around you. Creating a legacy also requires courage. It means standing up for what you believe in, even when it's difficult. It means taking risks, pursuing your passions, and living authentically, even when it goes against the grain. It means choosing love over fear, kindness over indifference, and growth over comfort. These choices may not always be easy, but they are what make your legacy meaningful. As you think about your legacy, it's important to remember that it's not just about what you leave behind, it's about what you live every day. It's about the moments of joy, connection, and purpose that make life meaningful. It's about being present, appreciating the journey, and making the most of the time you have. Your legacy is not a destination, it's a way of being. As you step into 2025, ask yourself, what kind of legacy do I want to create? How can I live in a way that reflects my values, inspires others, and contributes to something greater than myself? These questions are not meant to pressure you, they are meant to empower you. Your legacy is not a burden to carry, but a gift to give. Remember, your legacy begins today. It begins in the way you treat yourself, the way you show up for others, and the way you choose to live. It begins in the small, quiet moments when no one else is watching, and it grows with every act of love, courage, and authenticity. You are already creating your legacy, one choice at a time. So pick up the pen and write the next chapter. Plant the seeds of kindness, growth, and purpose. Nurture the relationships that matter most. Pursue the dreams that set your soul on fire. Your life is a masterpiece in progress, and your legacy is the beautiful, enduring mark you leave on the world. Conclusion: embrace the journey, shape the legacy. As you stand at the edge of a new chapter, remember this: you are not the person you were yesterday, and you are not confined by who you thought you had to be. Every day is a blank page, an opportunity to create, to grow, and to step closer to the life you've always imagined. Your journey is not about perfection, it's about progress. It's not about avoiding mistakes, it's about learning from them. And most importantly, it's not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about starting right where you are. Through the chapters of this book, you've explored the courage to rise, the power of reinvention, and the beauty of unfinished business. You've uncovered the strength to turn pain into purpose, and the wisdom to see your life as a masterpiece in progress. These lessons aren't just words on a page. They are tools, insights, and reminders that the power to transform your life has always been within you. The road ahead won't always be easy. There will be days when doubt whispers in your ear, when fear tries to hold you back, and when the weight of the past feels heavy. But in those moments, remember this: you have the courage to break free, the resilience to keep going, and the vision to create a future that feels true to your soul. You've faced challenges before, and each time you've come out stronger. This time is no different. Your life is your story, and you are the author. Every decision you make, every action you take, is a brushstroke on the canvas of your legacy. You don't need to have all the answers, and you don't need to see the entire path ahead. All you need is the courage to take the first step and trust that the next step will reveal itself. The masterpiece of your life is not about its ending. It's about the way you live each day. As you step into 2025, let this be the year you embrace the journey with open arms. Be bold in your dreams, authentic in your actions, and unapologetic in your pursuit of the life you deserve. Remember that your transformation doesn't just change you, it inspires everyone around you. The ripples of your courage, growth, and resilience will reach farther than you can imagine, leaving an impact that will echo for years to come. So here's your final invitation. Pick up the pen, turn the page, and write the next chapter. The world is waiting to see the brilliance of your story. Your legacy doesn't begin tomorrow, it begins today, and it begins with you.